What's up, dudes? It's the mother freaking Deke. I'm back in the shop. I'm just finishing up this big aluminum panel project. During this project, I was using both the TIG and the spool gun, and I thought it's a good time to take a second and explain a couple advantages and disadvantages of each process. So let's get to it. We're gonna start with my absolute favorite, which is the TIG. This is a custom setup. The parts are the same. You know, this one just happens to have a couple extra little features. Besides the point, advantage of the TIG. First of all, super precise. You can lay right into your arc. You can watch your base metals melt together. This is a phenomenally accurate process. That is its number one advantage. The other advantage is adjustability. You can adjust for dirty material, clean material, thin material, thicker material. You have the pulse. There is an infinite amount of adjustability based upon the TIG unit that you're running. But overall, if you have a semi-decent TIG unit, incredible adjustability versus a spool gun, right? I'm just gonna call it right there because it's quick, right? Accuracy, precision, and adjustability is where the TIG absolutely shines. It's one reason I love it, because yeah, it's an art form. It takes time and talent to get right, and it's freaking fun, dude. Getting to advantages of the spool gun, this happens to be a 38 miller. I like this, but besides the point, any spool gun, ease of use. You don't have to be a seasoned expert to run a spool gun. You just have to open the panel, read the settings just like you would on your MIG, and spray and pray. It does a fairly decent job. So definitely ease of use. The other thing is speed. If you need to lay a lot of feet of weld on aluminum or a lot of weld on aluminum, you cannot do it with a TIG. It would take you forever. The spool gun is incredibly fast. Quick recap. TIG welding, incredibly precise and infinitely adjustable. Spool gun, ease of use, linear feet of weld lay ability. Yeah, those are advantages and disadvantages. A couple of side notes, cleanliness comes into play. If your material needs to be super clean for the TIG to weld and do its thing, where the spool gun, it doesn't have to be as clean. So that's just like a little side note, but let's get to disadvantages. Disadvantages is freaking huge. Let's get to the disadvantages of the TIG, man. The TIG, because of its precise accuracy, what have you, it's a scalpel. We love the TIG, dude. But because of that, there is a learning curve. Kind of hard to learn, very hard to get good at. Dang good at is obviously admirable because they've put their time in. TIG welding is not easy. Learning how to set your machine up, learning how to use proper technique, learning different consumables, different things on the TIG torch filler material, can be rather difficult. So with that said, the major disadvantages to TIG is learning curve and speed. It is slow, precise, and kind of tough to run. But when you get good at it, it's the best. So quick side note, we love the TIG. Disadvantages to the MIG. MIG, what? We're not even talking about MIG welders. Disadvantages to the spool gun, right? Definitely not as clean. Your weld will not be as clean. Depending on thickness of material, not as strong, but definitely accuracy of weld, quality of weld is considerably higher with the TIG versus the spool gun. The spool gun, it is a hammer, not a scalpel. It shoves the wire in and it does its job. I'll tell you that, but does it look like a laser honed gas tank custom made by a professional TIG welder? No, but guess what? It'll freaking glue your horse trailer hinges back on and do just fine. Disadvantages of the spool gun is cleanliness of weld, strength of weld, appearance of weld, seriously inferior compared to the TIG welder. That's it. Honestly, just doesn't look as good and not as strong. Quick recap, right? If you want a honed laser scalpel that's incredibly slow but accurate, you go with the TIG. If you're more of a beat it with the hammer, let's get this thing to fit and let's rock and freaking roll, go with the spool gun. Go with the spool gun. Ultimately, obviously in my shop, I have to have both because there are jobs that call for perfection, excellent looking welds that are perfect. And then there are jobs that, hey man, I've got 80 bucks and I need this thing blasted back together. I don't care what it looks like, I just want it to hold. And that's when I grab the spool gun. So it's nice to have both, but if you don't have the time to dedicate yourself to practicing and learning the art of the TIG, then go with the spool gun. But if you have the time, TIG welding freaking wins because there is very, very few things that a TIG welder cannot do. Anyway, that was honestly all my opinion, and I could be 100% wrong. So the number one advice I could give is don't listen to me. Go figure it out on your own. You know, read some forums, watch some videos, buy them both, and run them. And you tell me if you agree or disagree. And yeah, I hope you guys are having a great day. This is kind of a random quick one. I don't often do this, but it seemed like a good time, man. I have people come into Humphreys all the time, and they don't know the advantages and disadvantages, and so I thought I would just shoot a quick vid. Hope you all are doing well. I feel good. This project's wrapped up, and I can put everything away and can call it a night. So yeah, speaking of calling it a night, it's time for me to call it a night. So with that said, I am the mother freaking Deke, and I'm out.